These crooks were up against some of the bravest store owners. You can only guess how they defended their stores from the pesky robbers. The power of a pickle jar. 3 robbers were busy stealing from a jewelry shop when no one was inside. But what they didn't anticipate was the store owner coming back early. The crooks got a bit panicky when they saw the big man running straight towards them. They tried to rush outside of the door, but it was too late. He single-handedly destroyed the 3 robbers, who can be seen scrambling away in panic. The thugs who were left, dumbstruck. This clever hack by the store owner was enough to send the thieves running in the opposite direction. 2 thugs came running towards the jewelry store and smashed the glass into tiny little pieces. They had only started grabbing the valuable pieces when the store owner cut their efforts short. He lowered the gate on the 2 crooks, sending them into a state of sudden panic. They tried very hard to stop the gate from coming down on them, but their feeble attempts got them nothing. So they grabbed whatever little they could and scurried away in a hurry. The robber who got ignored. The masked men came dressed in all black to this employee of the store. He pointed the gun at him and started demanding money. Little did he know that his tough act was about to turn into a pretty embarrassing moment in his life. The cashier gave one glance at the man and decided he wasn't worth interacting with today. He carried on to give the customer his sandwich as the robber just stood there awkwardly. What's funny is that even the customer didn't pay much heed to the robber. After a few more seconds of awkward silence, he leaps out of the door, regretting why he ever walked inside. Robber begging to be freed. This young man had come waltzing inside the store, having no clue that the store owner was about to bring him to his knees. As soon as the store owner realized what was happening, she rushed outside the store, taking all the other customers with her. She then locked the door behind her while the robber was busy finding a good steal. Once he was done stealing, a locked door was waiting to tell him that he had been outsmarted. He started falling to his knees, praying and begging to be released. Only a few minutes later, the cops came down to fulfill his wish.
Oh my God! All the way down!
The smart trap. These 2 thugs had stormed a store in the late hours of the night, unaware that they were about to receive an unwanted surprise. The employee at the store didn't bother fighting with the thugs. Instead, he rushed outside and locked the doors. Then, he started stacking up heavy things outside the door to lock the robbers in, using a bench and a rack to do his bidding. When the realization dawned on the crooks, they were left clueless. They tried to smash the window, attempting to find a way out. But the store owner was ready at the other end, holding his ground and throwing things back on the battlefield. This smart thinking by the store clerk kept one of the robbers locked inside when the cops arrived to clear the mess. The messy encounter. This robber raided the store for a bit of money but got a bullet gifted to him instead. The store clerk was not ready when a masked man came in and shoved him down to the ground. But when the robber was busy taking out the money, the store clerk sneaked behind him to pull out the gun from his drawer. The smashing situation. This smart guy came to the gas station to steal cash, but got more than what he bargained for. The man first came for a few bananas, but then he probably realized midway he didn't have the money to pay for it. He came back, wielding his knife, and started demanding money. But his small knife held nothing against the bigger knife the employee had in store for him. He pulled it out, chased the robber outside, and then locked the outside door. The crook was trapped. But there was another character in the story. the crook's accomplice who freed him by opening the outside door. Making use of the distraction, the crook went inside to steal, but he had no idea how much this would cost him. Outside, the employee with his machete left no stone unturned in destroying the robber's car. The scrambling robber. This robber had no idea what was coming back for him. A clerk was minding his own business when a man in a coat walked inside the store. He looked suspicious, and the clerk knew it too. He rushed to get his gun away before the robber could even pull his gun out. The robber ducked as the clerk unleashed his weapon. The thug bolted out of the door, probably ashamed of fleeing away in fear. The chaotic fight back. These robbers came to the jewelry store carrying guns and started smashing the glass of the counters. The customers got scared as panic started flowing in the air, but the store owner took the brave step and snatched his gun from under the counter. He fired one ammo at the nearest robber while they were all busy stealing the jewels. All it took was one warning, and the men started scurrying away in a hurry, trying to escape the heavy gunfire. Sword vs the robbers. This group of robbers came rushing towards a store with weapons in hand, but they didn't know the defense would be equally aggressive. The robbers smacked the glass multiple times until it broke into pieces. The employees ran away, but the robbers didn't know they were preparing for battle. As soon as the thieves started coming in through the broken glass, the employees came back with machetes in their hands. It was like they were waiting for this moment their whole lives. The crooks fired to steer away the employees, but they didn't hold back. A dominating brawl. This crook thought he could scare away this store clerk into giving her money. But boy, was he wrong. The robber came close to the counter and pretended to buy the soda can. As soon as the employee got busy with the cash register, he pulled out his gun, forcing the store owner to halt to a pause. But he didn't know that she had a plan. The robber leaped over the counter to grab the cash, but the store clerk was quick. She plunged at his gun and started wrestling with him. Then, she pulled him close and started hitting the robber with the rack. The robber sneaks out to make a sprint out of the store, but the store clerk didn't seem to want to stop. She grabbed a hammer and was ready to use it on the robber, but he was long gone. Need for escape. This man came in to steal beer and got the whole store instead, but not in the way you think. The gas station clerk got the hint that it was not a customer when the robber walked in. While the robber was busy stealing the bottles, the employee sneaked out and shut the door behind him. The funny thing was that the robber tried everything he could to open the lock, but the door didn't budge. From smacking it to using a beer bottle to prop the door open, his luck was simply not with him. Thugs vs. Supergirl. Somebody get this woman a medal, because what she is about to do will leave you in awe. Two thugs came in, bought beer, and were trying to walk away without paying for it. But this gutsy woman was not going to let them get away that easily. She pepper sprayed them right in their eyes, causing them to panic and scurry away in confusion. But the Supergirl wasn't done. She was adamant about teaching them a lesson. She chased after them and dragged one of the robbers inside the store while the other was trying to pull him from the other end. She was enough to bring down two crooks who could not even run away from her. Win-win situation. The robbers had come in tough, wielding their guns, but they were about to become a joke on the internet. The store owner was being paraded around the store by the robbers to help them steal. But once the robbers got busy with the shiny new phones, the store owner sneaked out of the back door. He raced towards the entrance and locked the door shut. The robbers were left flabbergasted as they scrambled around, trying to find a way out while the people at the front started recording them. Heist gone wrong. This is the kind of mastermind heist you see in movies, but this one won't be as successful. The 45-year-old woman had waltzed inside the jewelry store, claiming to be an inspector for an international buyer. The store owner took her inside the vault to show her the diamonds. But she was very fidgety from the start, which made him suspicious. She claimed that there would be a wire transfer any second now, justifying the reason why she wanted to put the diamonds inside her bag. The owner walked outside, and the camera spotted her, stuffing millions of dollars worth of jewels inside an envelope. He locked the vault shut and called the cops while the woman was busy filling up her bag. The gutsy fire. A robber made a quick run into the store, grabbed a few beer bottles, and then darted out of the store. What he didn't realize was that the store owners were watching him the whole time. One of them got up, grabbed his gun, and raced after the robber's getaway car. Standing just beside the driver's seat, he fired straight at the thug. One of them connected with his arm, causing him to crash his car a few miles down the road. This employee is definitely going to ask for a raise. The easiest win. How stupid do the thieves have to be to rob a gun store? This group was not very bright. The men came in and pretended to browse around the shelves for guns. Suddenly, they grabbed a few from the counter and bolted out of the store. The clerks sprang into action as they followed their trail. They managed to stop two of the robbers. One of the clerks even sat down on the crook to stop him from fleeing, while the other one was forced to sit down as the clerk held a watchful eye over him. Robber gets beaten by a golf club. This robber even had his getaway car ready, but he was about to flee without taking anything. The robber came into the store and directly aimed to grab the cash register. Just as he leaped over the counter to take it, the employee came rushing after him with a golf club. He beat him multiple times, but the cash register was already in his hands. The robber used the register to smack the glass of the exit door. But the store clerk didn't stop. He kept hitting him until he dropped the register and scurried away in a hurry before the golf club could injure him badly. Quick thinking. This robber had sneaked inside the store during the closing hours. The clerk was at the counter, closing off the day. Suddenly, he saw the masked man coming towards him with a gun in his hands. The clerk was pretty scared. But then the guy started having trouble functioning his gun. It was jammed, and he had a dumb expression on his face. The clerk saw the opportunity and plunged at the robber. He ran after the crook until he was forced to drop the weapon. That caught the robber off guard. He was too scared to stay, so he bolted straight out of the door. The quickest escape. This man walked inside the store, pretending to be busy with a call. Suddenly, he pulled out a gun, scaring the customer on his back. But the owner wasn't going to fear this armed man. He wrestled with the crook until he dropped the weapon and chased him out of the store. Not only did the thug leave empty-handed, but he also lost a bit of pride that day. The shocked robber. My man had brought a rifle to rob the hotel, but even his toughness didn't stand a chance against the hotel lobby clerk. He placed his weapon on his shoulders, fixed his mask, and went straight for the counter. He didn't even wait for the woman to respond. He simply slid in through the gap with his gun pointed at the clerk. But you can spot the dumbstruck look on his face the moment he jumped on the counter. That's because the clerk had pulled out her gun, sending the tough robber back to where he came from. Boy, what a disaster. The terrifying exchange. A robber had barged inside the store with a knife in his shopper. He came directly at the female clerk and pointed the sharp weapon at her stomach. He had even tried to strike her, but the woman was fast. She grabbed his wrist, twisted it, and forced him to drop his weapon. The woman grabbed the knife in her hands and used it to chase away the masked man, whose intentions remain unclear to this day. The Battle of Guns. This store owner knew what he was doing when he bought that vest for himself. Soon enough, it came into use. 4 young boys came into the store and just stood a few inches away from the owner, staring at him. The owner knew something was up, and that's when one of them broke character and started firing at the clerk. He was fast, though, and immediately ducked. Then, he picked up his weapon and started firing recklessly at the robbers. They toppled over one another, trying to escape the gun battle that they had started. Complete boneheads. Employees kicked down the robbers. These thieves in hoodies were making their way inside the watch store to grab a few goods for themselves, but they didn't know their feeble attempt at robbery would be foiled this way. As soon as the masked men with hammers made their way through the door, the employees charged at them with full force. They kicked and slapped the robbers until they were brought to the ground. One of the clerks even used a chair to smack the crooks, sending them into a state of fear. They can be seen running to save their lives and are never seen again. The dumb robber. This robber pretended to be interested in buying phones. As soon as he was handed 2 phones to check, he made a sprint towards the door, only to find it locked. The robber came back, gave back the phones, and then walked away in embarrassment. The gladiator. This group of robbers thought that they were being smart by knocking off the wall of the jewelry shop by crashing a car into it. While it did help them get inside, they were about to leave empty-handed. As they raced inside, creating chaos in the store, the owner came racing after them with a sword in his hands. The robbers got so scared of the armed man chasing them that they darted out of the same way where they came from. They hopped into the getaway car, but not without the owner taking a few strikes at the car for his satisfaction. The sneaky aim. This robber had run straight inside the store with a hammer in his hands. He smashed the glass, completely unaware that he was being followed. The store owner rushed in and pointed the gun at the robber's neck. The pesky crook was so scared that he took one glance at the owner and bolted out of the store. The faster draw. These robbers didn't even stand a chance against the store clerk. The men came racing towards the counter, only to find that the owner had already pulled out his gun and was ready to fire at them. The robbers scrambled in panic as they left as fast as they had come. Beaten at their own game. A robber dashed inside the store with a sledgehammer and smashed the glass within seconds. But the store owner was much faster. He leaped at the robber and shoved him violently out of the door as he struggled to escape from the owner's grasp. His partner joined in and tried to wrestle with the store owner, but he was enough to fight with the 2 thugs. He single-handedly pushed them both outside of the store and sent them running in the opposite direction. The machete strike. This masked man came into the store with a bag in his hands. He pointed the gun at the owner, demanding that he give the money to him, but the store owner looks pretty unbothered. You'll see why. That's right. He pulls out a machete from a scabbard as he lunges forward at the robber with full force. He chased him away as he tried to act out every move that he could think of. He should be hired for a movie. All show and no talk. This robber came charging inside the nail salon to trash-talk the customers into giving away their money. But the store owner was one step ahead. She ignored the robber and walked straight outside the door. The funny thing is that nobody seems bothered by the thief standing there. He walked away in embarrassment, trying to cover for his feeble attempt at robbing the salon. The determined save. A man was pretending to be interested in buying gold. As he skimmed through the jewels, he pulled out a pepper spray out of nowhere. He sprayed at the young boy and the owner, but they were not ready to back down. The owner stood his ground as the masked man sprayed multiple times, aiming directly for his eyes. He not only stood his ground, but kept the robber at bay too. He grabbed onto him until people nearby started coming in to apprehend the pesky robber. The easy fight. A man in a hoodie was seen walking into the store. As soon as he got to the counter, he fired at the ceiling and started demanding money. But the owner handed him bullets instead of cash in return. He could be spotted trying to dodge the gunfire. The robber eventually bolted out of the store, crouching and hurriedly walking away, fearing that a bullet might connect. The heavy gunfire. The robbery hadn't even begun, and the store owner ended it within seconds. A group of masked men had come in carrying guns, ordering around and creating chaos inside the store. But a few seconds later, you can spot them running away in a state of utter panic as they try to dodge the gunfire. That's because the store owner had drawn his gun and was firing straight at them, leaving them flabbergasted. The brave 80-year-old woman. This masked robber thought he could steal from an old woman, but what he didn't know was that she had a shotgun handy. As soon as the robber walked inside, the woman pointed the shotgun at him and blasted a risky fire at him. The thief screamed and ran away as fast as his legs could take him. That ought to bring him back to his senses. That's all on the thieves who messed with the wrong store clerk. They walked in all tough and were sent away with more damage than they had imagined. Which one was your favorite defense? Let us know in the comments below. Show us some love and hit the like button. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. We will keep you posted on the latest uploads. Until our next upload pops up on your feed, goodbye, and thanks for watching.